Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I'm sorry I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm not sure if it's windy outside and that's what was making it grainy or what, but I tried the video earlier and it just wasn't working right. Sorry. Hopefully this time it's cleared up. I am Kelley Pitts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Lubbock, Texas, and I've been doing this since 2005. Had a lot of fun with it. It is a wonderful joy to papercraft with others who have the same passion for it that I do. I love to do card making. I used to do scrapbooking, but I haven't done that lately. I'm hoping eventually I'll have more time and be able to do that too. But if you're interested in getting together and doing some scrapbooking, let me know and I'll move that up on my list, priority list. But today we're going to be working again with the Brush with Beauty suite from Stampin' Up, which is an online exclusive that just came out in November. So it is a beautiful suite with designer series paper, and it has a couple of different bundles within it, which each have a stamp set and die set. So today we're just using the designer series paper, and I'm going to add some traditional wreath, the 3D traditional wreath embossing folder, which I don't know if that's on the last chance list or what. I just checked it, but I thought it was beautiful with this paper. So we're going to play a little bit with embossing paste and hope you enjoy that. I'll go ahead and switch the camera over so you can see that better. But please let me know you're here. And if you have any crafty friends you think might enjoy the video, please share it with them. I want you to know you're welcome, whether you're watching live on Facebook or live on YouTube, or if you're watching the replay on either one. I'm thrilled to have you. Just if you enjoy the video, please give me a thumbs up. It's very encouraging and it's good for the channel. So I appreciate it. Okay, we're going to switch over the camera and hopefully this lighting will work better. Well, see, it still looks pixelated. I don't know what this is. I don't know if I've got too much lighting, it's too close, it's what, but we will give this a try. I'm going to get this up close here where you can see. Can you see that actual texture? This was a really thick embossing paste. This was an old shimmery one that hadn't totally dried up when I used it. So I wanted to give it a try and see if it would work, and it did. And then I opened a new one for a class. So we're going to make a version of this card. This is one we made in a class recently, but I'm going to change it up a little bit as a birthday card and put it on a different background. This is using a Mossy Meadow piece that is embossed with the Wreath 3D embossing folder. And I'm sorry these aren't clear. I have no idea why. So if anybody knows, let me know. Maybe I'll turn this light off and see if that helps. I don't know if that made a difference or not. We shall see. We're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is very vanilla, and I am still using the old very vanilla that is the thick, but I don't believe we sell that anymore. I think we only sell the regular now of the very vanilla, and it may only be in 12 by 12. I should have looked that up first and just didn't get to it. So this is just your typical 8.5 by 5.5 size, scored at 4 1/4. And we are just using our bone folder to see how that, oops, now the lighting is off again. I don't know what's off with this. I don't know why it's making it pixelated. Hope y'all can see it better, whoever's watching. Okay, so now we have our card base scored and burnished. And we're going to, and there it is. I was looking for the card base. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to go ahead and, whoops, I didn't line that up very well, did I? We're going to re-burnish that one. Make that a little bit more even. And if you ever have a piece of cardstock, see that other edge is a little bit longer. I'm going to flip it over so that the long edge is on the front, and you'll never notice that on the back. Okay, we're going to get our 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Mossy Meadow that I have embossed, like I said, with a traditional wreath, and I'm just going to glue this flat. And you use a little bit extra of the liquid glue when you're using a piece that's been embossed, because it needs a little more strength to the glue, I think, when you have that surface that's up and down and up and down. That way you're sure to get it where it will glue flat. Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and do some stamping. I'm going to change it up, like I said, and make it a birthday card for my friend Kathy. We're going to get to go to a birthday dinner tonight, so that's really fun. And I'm going to stamp on the inside. We're going to say, I'm going to use this from the Right Words stamp set, is what it's called. I've used it a lot. I've used this birthday sentiment a whole lot. Let's move this where you can see that. Maybe we can do this way, and that way you can still see the card. Nope. I've got to have room. I've got to have room. Okay. We're going to have happy birthday on the front, and on the inside, we're going to say, to someone worth celebrating every single day. And Kathy certainly is. I know those of you who know her know that that is true. Okay, now we're going to just do a little happy birthday while we've got the Mossy Meadow out. And hopefully I have a stamp cleaner. I should never try to tidy up right before a video, because inevitably I end up putting up things that I don't need to put up. And y'all can't see this messy desk anyway, thank goodness. Okay, we're going to use Happy Birthday from that same stamp set. And I'm going to just use a little scrap here. I was going to experiment with some circles or die cuts or something, but I think the main thing here today is playing with the embossing paste. That's the most exciting part. So we're just going to, I know Kathy likes a little bit more subtle, more neutral, not all show and fluff like some of us like. So I think she will appreciate this, just this sentiment here. And we'll cut that and figure out how we're going to do that shortly. Now we've got the stamping done. I'll show you how the embossing paste works, which we should have done this first, so we let it dry a little bit. But we'll do it now. Okay, I'm going to use the shimmery. I'm going to see how this worked from last time. This is my old one that I tried to reconcentrate, so we'll see if this is too thick or if it's going to work, or how. I'm not sure if this is the one I opened in class or if this is a reconstituted one. If it is, I hope so. I hope it seems to have worked. It's pretty thick though. But I like the texture that it gives. And we're just going to use this little knife right here. This is a palette knife that comes in a set of 3 knives with the Stampin' Up. You can order the embossing paste, and then you can order the little knives separately. And I'm putting a little bit too much right now, but I'm going to come back and kind of redo that a little bit. Hopefully y'all can see how much difference this is making with the texture, even though that camera is trying to pixelate for some reason. But it is just a really pretty effect, and you can do it easily. And if you get out of the lines, nobody knows because you can't tell what's underneath it. Isn't that fun? Okay. And of course, I'm doing this so thick that it's going to be really hard to dry. I'm just going to have to use a heat tool on it immediately. Not immediately, but Whoops, I didn't mean to cover up the center there. We're going to dig that out. And have y'all ever played with the embossing paste? With anything? Have you ever tried it on the designer series paper like this, directly on it? I don't think I've seen anybody do this. I'm sure people have, but I haven't seen it. But I just thought this lent itself to that technique very well. This paper that is so artsy and has all these little strokes that you can see, brush strokes that the artist did. And it was really interesting. This was the Brush with Beauty is the suite that Stampin' Up recently did a virtual card class with, which they give you a lot of hints and tips that are just really good for general card making and not just for this particular suite. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to go back and rewatch the videos, because once you've paid for that virtual class, you have access to those videos for a long time. I don't know if it's forever, but it's a long time. I'm going to see if I can get out of there. Okay. So see, I am just kind of playing. It is really fun to play with the paste like that. And I probably shouldn't be leaving my jar open like I am. Should have just gotten a little bit out. That's what I would recommend. Get a little bit out and put it on your silicone mat. And then use out of that. Because the more you have it open, the more likely it is to dry. So I definitely would try to reseal that foil as much as you can. Get that even over that lip all the way, and then close it up in your jar, and then put it back in a bag. Like the bag it came in would be ideal, but if you've thrown that away, excuse me, if you've thrown that away, you could certainly use just a Ziploc, but definitely keep it as tightly contained as possible so that you have a longer shelf life with it. Otherwise, do a lot of embossing paste cards in a reasonable amount of time. A week or two would probably be good. Although I know this one lasted longer and I was able to reconstitute it. I probably had it a year, but I wouldn't. My others were rock solid that I'd had for a while. So, and I'm trying not to do this evenly everywhere. Just get some of the areas are going to have the big thick strokes and some of them aren't. So that really has a lot of depth and texture to it. Got a little bit more there. Let's add a little bit. See what we think. And then if you want to add to the little ones, you could add a little bit there. We'll see what we like. As far as this one, I'll try to add just a teeny bit where at least it adds a little sparkle. And this is the shimmer one. They have one that's a shimmery embossing paste, and then one that is just called embossing paste. And it does not have that shine at all, shine or shimmer to it, but it still gives you the rough texture that looks like it's been painted with a palette knife, which is really cool, I think. I used to paint and I have missed that. Are y'all artists? Anybody watching? Have y'all done any kind of watercolor painting or acrylic painting or oil painting? What kind is your favorite? And you can answer even if you're on the replay and not watching live. I'm supposed to get little notifications whenever anybody comments. So hopefully I don't miss those and miss your comments, but I would love for you to comment. Okay, what do y'all think of that? I think that's interesting. Let me hold it up and see if it will let me show that a little better. And I really think maybe somehow the shimmer is reflecting or bouncing back from this light or something, but hopefully you can see that. I know you can't see the shimmer on the camera, but you can definitely see the texture Isn't that pretty? Like it. And you could, if you wanted to do a whole thing like this, or you wanted to do the opposite for some reason, you could actually add Mossy Meadow ink into your embossing paste and then do your leaves that way. So you could do, if you did a two-tone thing, that would certainly work. Okay. I think I might just put that back really quickly so I don't waste it. Hasn't totally dried yet, so we shall see how that works. Now, I would recommend, if you're doing this at home, or when you try this at home, to go immediately and get this into water. I'm going to use a wet wipe here, a couple of them, so I can get this off, because I don't want to just desert you and go to the sink. So I'm cleaning that off, and I'm going to clean this off. This will wash off later, but it's easier to get it right now. We're going to let that dry just a bit. And I'm going to tie a bow. We're going to play with some of the linen thread. We still have the Mossy Meadow and Early Espresso, and I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't checked to see what all is on our last chance list and what is discontinued already. Sorry, I had to have a sip of water there. Okay. We will set this aside. And I'm going to work on my bow. I'm going to try a triple bow. And I'm going to try, I think there's enough of, yeah, then there's enough of that light to do the old olive in there too. So we're going to let that be right there. Sorry about that. Hit my light. Hope y'all are having a great day and getting everything done for your Christmas prep. I decided y'all were probably done with your Christmas cards by now and probably didn't want to see another one. So I thought you might enjoy this refreshing change from all that. I hope everybody's gotten their Christmas cards out and oops, tangled up there. Okay, we're going to try a triple bow, kind of like we did if some of y'all watched the Joyful Days videos where I did that series of cards. We did 8 cards and they used these linen threads. One of them is the natural linen thread, and then we have a Mossy Meadow one, and not Mossy Meadow, Old Olive. Sorry about that. Old Olive and Early Espresso. And the Early Espresso and Old Olive come in a double pack, a duo, and then the linen thread comes by itself, of course. And I'm going to see what we think of this. We may want to go just 2 of the colors instead of 3. But I'm thinking if we kind of play with it, it picks up all 3 of the colors, doesn't it? Trying to not to get into the embossing paste part too much. But if we do something like that, or we could do it over here, that seems like the best place for it. And then how do we do the happy birthday? Do we do it up here and maybe make that slant there? Because that leaf, that's kind of bare up there. But I don't think we want the greeting up there and the bow up there. I kind of think I want the bow down here. We don't really want the greeting covering up that flower, I don't think. Do we want a happy birthday going all the way across? And have this, maybe it's smaller, and this is tied all the way. If I wrap that around, if I wrap the ribbon around and just let that come down, does that work? You don't want that over the happy. Maybe if it overlaps kind of like that. Or do we want it on a whole strip? Dang, my flowers didn't just work out positioned properly, did they? I don't like to cover that whole thing up. I don't mind that idea. Let's see. Tool and hit this really quickly. And I'll be right back. We're going to put that up there. So see if I can reach. Of course, I don't have my little tweezers, but we're just going to hit this like that. All right, let me check it for a moment and see. It's not really quite dry, but I think it's dry enough for us to work with. And I did heat that on the back a little bit because the paper starts to kind of warp and go one way. So if you heat it from the other side, that helps to straighten the paper out a bit. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's see what we think if we wrap all three of these around that. Or do y'all like the look of just the one better? Or do you like the all three like this? If we're putting it on the Mossy Meadow. While y'all are thinking about that, I'm going to just wrap this around here. We're going to take our Stampin' Seal and do it on the sides here. And then I'll just wrap a row of the linen thread. Let's do about right there. Trim that. And we'll do a little of the old olive. Oops, didn't stick that very well, did I? There's that. Now we'll add a little early espresso to the mix because we do have the early espresso in the center of the flowers. So it ties in nicely. Okay. Now, I'm thinking if we have the bow over here, like I said, kind of in that little bit of an empty space. And if you want, these aren't totally like together like it would be if you really tied this. So I'll show you the trick that I use when I'm doing that. I usually take a tool and get a little glue dot, and then I just kind of wrap those around together and stick those all, like pinch them together and stick that down. Then we'll take the bow. Let's see, do we like it this way? Yeah, I like that. Okay, and it's usually easier if you can take the embellishment to the glue dot. That works better normally. So that's what we're going to do. And that way you're not getting it off with your fingers and getting on your fingers and all that. That's a pain. So we're just going to stick that. I don't like the way that did. So we're going to try that again. We're going to pull this down and this down. Pull that a little tighter. I'm going to flip it over and try the other side, see if I like that better. And you just take it to the dot and then kind of twist as you're pulling it off, and that should work better for you. I'm going to kind of, whoop, I didn't mean to do that. I really want to kind of curve the end of this. We may have to do that with scissors. Let's see if we can do it like you can regular ribbon. You just got to hold this part tight, then make a little curl. Now it's kind of curling like that other part did. Okay, I kind of like that, where it's a little free and floppy there. Okay, now we'll just figure out how we want our happy birthday to go, because this could be straight, it could be tucked underneath like that, could be on top. Let's make that a little, kind of want that a little less. Where do we just want it straight? Maybe we just want it straight. If we do it small like that, we could do this a little bit smaller. Where we don't hide the bow, but it doesn't look awkward the way it's running into the bow. What do y'all think about that? Y'all like that? And let's see. How are we going to do this? We kind of want, I thought I had my foam adhesive strips, but I'm not seeing those. So we can use just a tiny side of this. Let's do that. It's kind of like a foam adhesive strip. We'll take, why don't we take 2 little strips like that. And we'll try to put those at the very edge. May not be quite big enough, but that way we can kind of straddle the ribbon with it, or straddle the linen thread. Okay. So see how you could use the foam adhesive strips for that, or you can use the side or the edge of a Stampin' Dimensional pack, either way. We're just going to try to put that right on there. Do I want that even? I'm not going to stick it down until I put it on here. Now I feel like we need, with this brown, maybe that should be brown. Or have a teeny tiny brown edge around this. The early espresso. Let's see if we might want that. I'm going to cut a little piece. What do we think about this? Do we need this little tiny bit on there? All the way across or not all the way across? I kind of think I like that a little bit. So this is 3 3/4, I believe. Let's double check it. Yep, 3 3/4. So let's do 3 7/8, or maybe even, yeah, because this one is 4. So 3 5/8 is what we would need, right? No, 3 3/4. That'd be, it would be, I was right, 3 7/8. Because the other, this piece is 3 3/4, so we want it a little bit bigger. We're going to go 3 7/8 and 3 7/8. And I'm just going to poke a hole out of here because I can't stand to waste that much paper. Okay. I think that sets it off nicely. And I'm sorry y'all can't see it very well. I don't know. I'll have to, guess, talk to StreamYard or something. Somebody who knows anything about lighting and technology, please holler, because I'm not sure what to do about that. Or maybe we do this. That's too much brown, isn't it? Or if that's cut off, that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. We're going to have to decide exactly where to cut these corners though, right? So let's see about that. Let's go, let's measure from, that's about 1 1/4 inches. That's about 1 1/4 inches. Let's see if that's 1 1/4 inches. Pretty close. Okay. So let's, I don't think I can do it on that trimmer. Let's see if I go where this is even. I'm going to get on this line right here. And that says 1 1/4 inches. I'm just going to do it at 1 inch. Okay, it should be straight because I've got this lined up and this lined up, and I'm going to cut it at 1 inch, and we'll see. I moved. I was not holding it tightly and it moved. Dang it. Okay, we're going to try it one more time and see if I can rescue that. Okay, now we'll take this and do 1 inch over here again. Ooh, that's a little harder to do now. We'll just see. Are these even? This should be even top and bottom, huh? Is that 2 1/4 and 2 1/4? That's not going to be even after it slipped. probably not going to work. So we may just have to hide that. Let's just play and see, shall we? Let's see how we like this. Okay, not really. So we may want to go, I'm going to cut this so that we can do each part individually. Whoop. Nope, that looks like a house now. Well, okay, we're going to go back to our original piece, I think, that was just around it. See if this will work. We're going to go back to 3 7/8. Okay, let's go to 4. And then we'll go to 3 7/8. Make this whoop, that might be too close. 3 7/8. See if that'll work. Sorry I didn't have this planned out, people. Just thought about the brown, the early espresso, after I put that ribbon on. Let's see if we can get that to attach with just the teeniest of borders. I think that's still pretty. We're going to do that. And we'll just go around the outside of this and attach that to the brown early espresso. So we have a little even border all the way around. And pop that up. It's kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever done a card like that with this much of a border top and bottom, but I kind of like it. I hope y'all do too. Let me know what you think. If you always center yours in the space available, or if you like it like this, it's something a little different. I think it'll kind of stand out because it's a little different than usual. Okay. Yeah, I think we want all that popped up. So we're just going for it. Sometimes I use minimal dimensionals and sometimes I use a lot. How about you? Do y'all use a ton of dimensionals, or are you very conservative with your dimensionals? Looks like that turned a little bit. I want that where it's not sticking out on the edge there. Okay, now we're going to just have our happy birthday. We're going to get this centered. Where we've got even space kind of on the sides, that little bitty even space, little bitty, and then top and bottom is fairly even. And we've got that beautiful draping of the ribbon. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to stick one more glue dot behind this to make sure that stays put right where I want it. Then we can look at embellishments. Isn't that an unusual card? Look at the texture in that from that embossing paste. Isn't that fun? If y'all haven't tried it, it's fun. And I should have done the little strip on the inside too. I was going to put a small piece in there. And I think I'm going to go like side to side with that. And I'm going to go all the way across, which uses more DSP than I usually use because it's going to be the full 4 1/4. But we'll probably use the rest for something else. So it's okay now and then. I usually try to stick it in increments of 4. Okay. That should be 4 1/4. And we're just going to glue that in flat. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so all we lack are some embellishments. And here's the inspiration card that I did earlier. And then here's the one we did today for birthday. So y'all let me know which one you like. Do you like the light or the dark? The ivory or vanilla or the mossy meadow background? Okay, we've got these, which I can do in the white or this kind of crumb cakey kind of color, which is kind of like the background. The background is not really crumb cake, but let's see if I wish we had an early espresso one. We probably do have a neutral dot. I just don't know that I want them in the center of the flowers. Or maybe do I just want some of these in here scattered? Or do I want white scattered? No, I don't think I want white. Let's see what we think of a few of these. We'll use 2 small and 1 large. I think these 2 need to be closer together somehow. Not really a good spot unless I move that up here. But I kind of like bringing it down. Do I go all the way over here? Nope. It's just kind of the way the paper is spaced. Just kind of made it kind of funny, didn't it? But I think those work with it. And those are from the Pearls of Beauty that came in this suite. Pearls of Beauty. They're lovely, lovely. They have just a beautiful finish to them. Very pearlized, as you might expect from the name. All right. Well, I hope y'all have enjoyed that. I think this would be pretty if you decide to go. You could dress it up even more with a gold ribbon. You could change it up however you want. But I would love to know if you like the vanilla or the mossy meadow better. If you like the difference in the background, the bow, kind of which card is your favorite of those. And I hope you're having a great day and have a wonderful week and have a Merry Christmas. If I don't talk to you again before then, I'll switch the camera over one more time and say good night or good afternoon. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and show this one too. We'll see if I can get them both in the light. There we go. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please share this with your crafty friends. And I'm trying to do a video each Monday at 2 p.m. Central. So hope you'll tune in, and I will talk to StreamYard and find out what I'm doing wrong that may be causing those technical issues. But right now it's not pixelated. So I think it's something to do with the lighting and that. But thanks again for tuning in. Y'all have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye. Fun times ahead.